am your host, Peter Bryant. Jason is normally on this call, but he is not feeling well tonight. A little bit of the con crud, I think, from Paige. But I do have an excellent guest. Terry Mixon is joining us this evening. Hey, Terry.
Howdy ho, neighbors.
Hey, so Terry is a friend of mine from years and years ago. We met. I believe you and I met at Balticon, right? I think that's where we met.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah, and Terry is an author, does a lot of sci-fi writing and such, and
Pays the bills.
Pays the bills. Yeah, and he used to be back when we still had James among us. Was one of James' online gamer friends. So.
Truth.
Yeah, so it's good to have Terry on the show, and I guess we'll get into the news. Let me pull this up. This week we are talking about, as soon as my computer, okay, Tom Baker returns as the Fourth Doctor. Secret Wars expansion for the Marvel multiverse. God darn it, Marvel multiverse role-playing game. That's a mouthful. Wizards of the Coast partners with Fortnite. And the TTRPG crowdfunding report 2025. A guy named Christopher Hutton did a report on it, so we'll talk about the state of affairs, as the crowdfunding for TTRPGs goes.
Hope there's not going to be a test because I haven't read any of this.
No, you haven't, and there's no test. I know. I'm going to report it. We'll talk about it. So Tom Baker, I love Tom Baker. Tom Baker he is my doctor. People have a doctor they claim. Do you have a doctor, Terry?
I have never actually gotten bitten by the Doctor Who bug, although I have an interesting Doctor Who story.
Oh, yeah?
When I was in the Army, I met a guy that dressed like Doctor Who with the whole cape and costuming and whatnot. And I watched him in his convertible try to drive off while the neck piece had fallen under the back wheel, and he dragged himself out of the car.
Oh my God.
Luckily, he was not harmed, but it could have been close.
Wow.
Be careful of those scarves, buddies.
Yeah, when I was, I want to say when I was like I know it was 14 because I know I did this in high school, so maybe 13, 14, somewhere in there. I used to watch Doctor Who at night on PBS. They would show them like the reruns late at night. And that was when Tom Baker, during that time I was watching, it was the Tom Baker episodes they were showing. And I fell in love with the show. And it was funny because I was the only person I knew that even knew what Doctor Who was really, who watched it, because it wasn't popular here in America at all. None of my geek friends watched it. And I remember I used to wear a trench coat, and I would carry like what are they, the gummy bears, and just called them jelly babies, because I don't know if you know this about Tom Baker's doctor. He would walk around with these what he called gummy babies, and he would offer them to people. Like somebody would be getting in his face, and he'd be like, "Oh, do you want a gummy baby?" Trying to like
diffuse
the situation. Yeah. And at any rate, when the new Doctors came out, the new series came out, and became popular in America. I did like the original. I'm trying to think of his name. Guy before David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston. I did like him as the Doctor. And I did like David Tennant as the Doctor as well. But the stories kind of took a dump, like after Eccleston. I thought, in my opinion, I know a lot of people still like it. Just saying, in my opinion, I didn't really like the writing too much anymore. David Tennant was great, but I got about 6 episodes in, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think I can hang with this anymore. And I never could get back into it again. So I'm just happy.
I was aware of it, but I don't have anything for it or against it. I just never really watched any of it, never really felt driven to watch any of it. So I don't have an opinion on it one way or the other. It just somehow passed me by.
It's just not your bag, man. Not everybody is into everything, I always, like I always say, and not every piece of media or entertainment or whatever is for everyone. Some
That's
people
certainly
like
true
things,
of every kind of fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for example, I love Stranger Things. I love that show a lot.
So does my wife.
But Jason, he can't get into it. He couldn't get past the 3rd episode. And, people were kind of like, why? I was just like, dude, he just doesn't like it. It's fine. Not everything is there for you to like. I have it. So Terry, you're a creator, and you write a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this statement? I never want to create anything that everyone likes, because I feel like if everyone likes it, no one loves it and no one hates it. I feel like you got to have some haters, because if you have haters, then you're likely to have people who love your work, because you can't please everybody, right?
You are not in any danger of having everyone like your work. Trust me on that, because even Stephen King has 1-star reviews. Anybody you look at is going to have people that hate it, people that love it. It doesn't matter if you're a mediocre creator, mediocre writer, you're still going to have people that like it and hate it. You may
Yeah.
have mediocre, you may have more than a few people that hate it, but yeah, that's kind of the point. But even when you're good, you get people that just aren't into whatever you've created there, and they may like something else that you've done. I got a note off my email just a couple of days ago that I thought was pretty funny. And you get negative comments all the time. You've got to develop a thick skin when it comes to that as a creator. It's
Right.
like this series is crap. It's not even really science fiction. What the fuck?
Right.
It's
Right.
like, thank you for your constructive criticism, sir.
Yeah. I'll take it into consideration and keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly so. I learned as a creator early on that I was a poor judge of my own work. So I stopped trying to second guess myself, and I create what I want, and then I put it out there, and people will love it, or they will hate it, or they will find it meh, all on their own without me having to worry about what I think about it.
Yeah, we've noticed. I'll tell you, there's been a few, and I don't mind sharing this because it's on public open spaces like Kickstarter, and and some of the places where people have made some comments on our games. Some people love Top Secret. It's our flagship game. Some people love Top Secret, but we've had a couple people. It's not a lot. It's just a few who are like, one in particular, and I can't remember who it was, but he was like, "This game is unplayable. It's completely unplayable. You guys ever going to put out an edition that you can play?" And I don't engage, because I'm just kind of like, all right, well, if that's how you feel, but I don't understand how it can be unplayable when I've got all these people playing it, and I run it at conventions, and we've got several other fans of our game that we talk with on a regular basis who run it at conventions. And I mean, I don't know where this unplayable is coming from. Does it have a few typos in it? Are there a few things we could have added to it that we didn't? Yes, of course. There's always going to be typos or issues. I think you can edit something 100 times, and then the 101th time you'll find something, right?
The easiest way to find that you have made a mistake, a typo, or whatever, is to wait 2 weeks after you've published it, pick a random page, and look at it.
Yeah.
You will find something, and you're like, how did this get missed? Where did this come from?
6 people looked at this thing. How's this possible?
Yep. And remember, you really haven't made it as a writer until you get a 1-star review on Amazon that says, this isn't a complete package of 36 sausages.
Right.
That wasn't me. Some other author got that, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
That's funny. That's awesome. All right. Well, anyway, to this story, Tom Baker and Sadie Miller explore days to come in the Fourth Doctor Adventures Lethal Progress, a box set of 3 full cast audio adventures. I love full cast audio adventures. They're awesome. Due for release in June of this year. Now, Sadie Miller is taking on the role of Sarah Jane Smith. And if you don't know who that is, Terry, that was sort of like the greatest sidekick. The Doctor always has sidekicks.
So
right?
I know that the Doctors have companions, so it's got to be a companion.
Right.
Isn't that the word for it? Aren't they companions? I thought that was the word for it.
No, you're right. You're right. They are companions. Not in that way, but as in friends.
Not sexualized, but
right.
They're called the companion. I don't know. I'm not judging here. Whatever they do in the TARDIS, that's not my business.
Yeah, hey, it's bigger on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Wonka, wonka. Anyway, so the Doctor's 3 new trips in time are. Oh, by the way, I should say, yeah, this is all audio. This is not like a video cast or anything like that. It's just all audiobook style. So the first one is Green and Pleasant Planet by Tim Foley. The Doctor and Sarah find themselves exploring an alien world alongside a British space expedition. It's never been visited before. So what's a model village doing on the surface of the planet? And it says here, finding the answers may prove deadly. That's always the case with the Doctor. And then there's the next book is The Continuum by John Dorney. Doctor and Sarah land on a space station Daedalus on the day it makes history. The first journey through hyperspace has just been completed, but it hasn't gone as smoothly as posterity suggests. Something terrible is happening, and the clock is ticking down. And the last one is The Audience by Lizzie Hopley. A cultural festival on Gakoria should be light relief for the TARDIS crew. But when one of the cast of the play dies, Sarah has to join the troupe, and the audience on this world are very demanding because on this planet, the play's the thing. So this sounds really cool. I might even buy into these because I love Tom Baker. I mean, when I see that face, it just lights me up. I don't care how old he gets. I still love seeing his face and his voice. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with having more creative stuff, even if it's only audio, that carries on with the tradition of what they're doing. That audiobooks are still great storytelling opportunities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You would know something about that, right?
I do have an audiobook or two.
Yeah. All right. Next story. So Secret Wars expansion for the Marvel multiverse. Man, I can't read tonight. The Marvel multiverse role-playing game. It's just too many syllables with M's. So if you're familiar, with anyone, I know you probably are, but anyone is not familiar with Marvel multiverse and the what was it, the Secret Wars type stuff?
Yeah,
there have been several Secret Wars. Like
there
I
have
remember,
been.
yeah, I remember. I had the first set, and it's actually in pretty decent condition. I should check to see what it's worth. But I bought it back in the 80s when it came out, and it was like a 12-issue series, and all the heroes and villains, or a good chunk of them, all get sent to this kind of makeshift, kind of pieced together planet that this creature, the Beyonder, has made. And, they have to fight against each other. So it's the heroes against the villains. It was a really cool storytelling concept. But this one, I think, portrays the last Secret Wars. And it was, and I think it's what the movie is going to be based off of that's coming out, where everything collapses, the whole multiverse collapses and is destroyed, or some case like that. And Doctor Doom has managed to, I think he's managed to suck up all the Beyonder's power or whatever, and he becomes the God Emperor, what they call God Emperor Doom. And I haven't actually read the series. I should read it. You a big Marvel fan, Terry?
I'm pretty familiar with it. I was not wealthy enough as a kid to go ahead and collect comic books. I just didn't have that kind of money. So while I am passingly familiar with it, it was something that I looked at from afar and went, I wish it was me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Dave, I believe that's David, said he in the comments, he said, I had Secret Wars, the black costume for Spider-Man time. Yeah. So Venom, if anybody doesn't know this, the whole Venom character came from the original Secret Wars. Spider-Man goes to some machine and his costume was all messed up and he needed a new costume. And he found this like high-tech machine that made the black and white costume for him. He didn't know that it was putting a symbiote on him. And so when he starts playing around with this thing, and he realized it had web shooters built into it. They were organic. So he never had to refill them. He could make the thing into any shape or size he wanted. So he's like, on a hot day, I could just have a short sleeve shirt and short pants, and the rest of them is covered. He could wear it under his clothes. So he goes through this whole thing, and then he goes to Reed Richards to figure out what the hell this thing is. And Reed Richards is like, oh, it's a symbiote and it's living off of you. And he's like, oh, he freaked out. And then, the whole thing turns into Venom after that, because he gets pissed at Peter for breaking up with him. And then
breakups are hard.
I know, they can be difficult, right? So anyway, this is based on the D616 game system. Now, at first, I was like, what does that mean, D616? That sounds weird, but check this out. This is really cool. So it's based on the core mechanic, and it's 6, and then the 1 and the 6, and this will become important because you roll 3d6. One of your 6-sided has to be a different color, and if you're using, I guess, the official game dice, it would actually have a Marvel logo on it. And so when you roll them, you add your scores up. So let's say you rolled a 6 and a 5, and on your Marvel die, if you roll a 1 or you get the Marvel face, that's actually really good because that actually equals a 6. So that side has 2 6s. But if you roll the Marvel 6, it also gives you a special effect, a super, like a fantastic roll. So
right. Critical success for you.
Yeah, critical success. And that's if you succeed. Otherwise, it just counts as a 6. So it could be a 6 and you could fail. But let's say it's a 6 and you succeed, it's a super success. And let's see.
Doom approves.
Yeah, Doom approves. Let's see. So to perform a task, you add your relevant ability score, and I'll get into the ability scores in a second. They're really cool. To the total of the 3 dice. If the roll meets or exceeds the target number set by the narrator, you succeed. What's cool about their ability scores is there are 6 of them. Marvel has 6 letters, and it's an acronym for Marvel. So you have melee, which is your strength, agility, which is dex, resilience, which is constitution, vigilance is wisdom, ego is charisma, and logic is intelligence. So your stats spell Marvel. I thought that was pretty cool too.
I bet they were really glad that it worked out for them. You know, it would be tough with them if they had some weird letter in there they had to try to figure out.
Yeah, like an X or something. Like, oh, it's a Zenistic. That's your intelligence because
it's a Z. What do I do with the Z? I don't know.
It would be zoom, and that would be your speed.
There you go.
There you go. Anyway, so the Secret Wars expansion. I mean, there's not a lot to tell about it because, for one, it's not out yet. We haven't seen the movie yet. So we don't know what all this is going to be based on. Only, we know the comic line obviously is going to have an effect to it. But it brings everything to Battle Worlds, brings all your characters to Battle World, and explores a patchwork planet ruled by Doom following destruction of the multiverse. It will be 256 pages. New character sheets, playable locations like 2099, which is, I don't know if you ever saw any of the Marvel 2099 comics, but that was a whole series for a while. Like there was a Spider-Man 2099, and there was a couple of them. And rules for rank X characters. Those are the near infinite power characters. So I guess if you wanted to play, I don't know, I guess Doom probably falls into that now.
Once he has the Beyonders powers, yeah, he does.
Yeah. So, or I guess Galactus, or Thanos with the I see Black Panther on there with the Infinity Gauntlet on him. So I guess that would qualify as well.
I don't know. I'm not sure that the Infinity Gauntlet would quite get him up to that level, because it'll mess you up. The Infinity Gauntlet is not a safe thing.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta wonder how somebody like Black Panther handles that. Like, if he were to like do the snap, would it kill him? I mean, it basically crippled the Hulk's arm, and he's like near invincible.
Yeah, so I don't know the answer to that question, and the writers would have to think about that very much before they executed.
Yeah. I have a question.
Anytime you've got somebody that's mortal playing with X level powers, they aren't X. They are borrowing X.
Right. They are playing X. So, yeah. So I guess we'll see. It looks good.
What was your question? I interrupted you. My apologies.
Oh, no. Oh, I had a question. Yeah. So when did you see the movies, the Infinity? Okay. So at the end, where they're fighting over the gauntlet near the end of the movie, and Spider-Man has it, and Captain Marvel shows up, and she's like, "Hey, Peter Parker," and she takes the gauntlet from him. Why don't she just put it on and do the snap? She's powerful enough to handle it, right?
Well, it would certainly go with, the "I'm so powerful" vibe that character has. I'm not a fan of that character. I understand that they wrote her to be like the end all be all of power and can do just about anything. And that is weak storytelling to me.
Terrible storytelling. I agree. Because Captain Marvel never was like that, was never that powerful. I mean, I think I didn't see the second Captain Marvel movie, but like apparently she flies into a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but if you're a big fan, you would have seen it by now. She flies into a sun and reignites it. I'm sorry, but that power level, like, there's nothing that could stand against you. Nothing.
Mhm.
Like to reignite a star, it's like near infinite power, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anytime that she shows up on screen, all I can do is roll my eyes and go, "Here we go. This is Deus Ex Machina, getting the writers done what they want done."
Yeah. It's a shame too, because I think they could have done a much better job with her.
If they want to go ahead and make Secret Wars really fun and surprise everybody, they should kill her off in the first 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
That's my opinion.
I just have a feeling we're not going to see her anymore, because I don't think.
I hope not, because she is not that popular with the majority of people that watch her because she is so powerful. Mm-hmm. I realize that's her thing, but most of us don't want to see somebody just show up and wipe the floor with the baddest of the bad. We want the heroes to work for it.
Yes. And I'm a little disappointed with what they did with the Thunderbolts with Sentry. I was kind of upset that they brought Sentry in, because he is bizarrely powerful, like more powerful than Superman in a lot of ways, because he has that reality bending ability. Like he's as strong and as fast. He can do all the stuff that Superman can do, but then on top of that, he can warp reality with his mind. So I'm with you, man. I'm not big on those super, super, super powerful characters. I really think it makes for poor storytelling.
They have to really work to make stories that work for Superman in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because he is so powerful. You have to have those built-in limitations of things he won't do versus things he can't do. And then you've got to write the stories that basically take away his power to just wipe the floor with whatever comes his way.
Right. And the shame is they had done him like they did in the, like the earlier part of the Superman saga. I think I was going to say years, but I don't know what years it was. I say somewhere like the 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there, where Superman actually wasn't ungodly. He wasn't like a god.
He wasn't
in power.
He didn't start out that powerful.
No. Like when they said he could leap over a building in a single bound.
That was about it. He couldn't fly. He could jump.
He couldn't fly. He could just jump really high. And like, even when he got shot, he had to stand up to the bullets. Like he couldn't just take them,
just stand there and watch them bounce off. No, they were forces that he had to take into account. He grew more powerful as things went along. And I would suspect that they regret that.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever read any of the Superman comics, but he got into all these powers that just didn't make any sense. Like he had
whatever the writer wanted to put in, boom, they'd put in.
He had telepathy, he had telekinesis.
Where was the editor when all of this happened?
Well, it goes back to role playing, right? I always say that every creative endeavor, especially movies, needs to have a role player on staff, because I watch movies and somebody will have like a power, an ability, or something will be said, and then it just kind of gets forgotten and never used again or whatever. And a role player would be like, no, it's on my character sheet. I would do this right here. I would use this thing I got right here.
That's right. Once you got a power written down, it's real, buddy. I'm going to use that sucker whenever I want.
Yeah. And the writers have to be like, oh, God damn it. Why is this guy always doing this? It's like, well, you wrote it. You wrote the original. I didn't write it.
Me. They would absolutely hate me if I was on the writing team.
Right. But the fans would like you. All right, let's go on to the next one. D&D and Fortnite. So this is interesting because this is the first time that Wizards of the Coast has collaborated with somebody like this. What they're doing is they're bringing D&D into Fortnite. So let's see, the partnership with creators Chartis and TerraVision Games marks an official entry for D&D into the Fortnite ecosystem through a series of fan-made, officially licensed islands. I've never played Fortnite. My friend Steve plays the hell out of it. Dave is saying, oh God. So I think that means that his kids probably play the hell out of it. But this was a strategy to explore how D&D can connect with the diverse Fortnite player base in new ways. Islands feature famous settings from the Forgotten Realms, including Yawning Portal Tavern and the Spine of the World Mountains and volcano Mount Hostnow. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And they're bringing in iconic D&D monsters like Klauth, which I never heard of, an ancient red dragon, and the necromancer Valindra Shadowmantle. Man, these names are tough, Terry. They're killing me with these names.
Well, all the good ones are all taken. Now you got to come up with the weird ones.
I know, right? 6 million syllables. This collaboration is part of a broader push by Wizards of the Coast into digital spaces, as video games have become a central pillar of their strategy for the D&D brand. And we've talked about that a lot on this show in the past. If you go back to any of our older episodes, we've been mentioning how they've been leaning into the digital space. And they got a new creator just a couple months back. Oh, man, maybe it might be a year now. I don't know. Anyway, a little while back, they got a new guy running the show who is like pulling everything in. So they had these different departments, and he's like, nope, we're pulling it all in-house, all together under one common like goal and roof. We're going to do everything with a central focus. So this is part of that.
We'll hope that it works out better than many of the other things that Wizards of the Coast has attempted or tried. We'll hope that it doesn't poison Fortnite.
No, yeah, I've never played Fortnite, but I know it's really popular. I know people love it. Have you ever played Fortnite?
I've never. Yeah. I'm on the wrong age. Computer games came just a little too late for me.
Well, when I was watching Fortnite, people play Fortnite. One of the things that kind of kept me from doing it was I love first person shooters, right? They're like I like them, and I like fighting games. But there's all this building you have to do in Fortnite. And I was watching people play, and part of the strategy was somebody to come to attack you, and you just start building a base and running up through the base as you're building it, as they're chasing you. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to.
Okay. I'm with you on that one, I think.
I was like, that's not my thing. I don't want to do that. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. It looks good. It says, while no 2026 roadmap for tabletop source books have been officially released yet, there is significant fan speculation regarding a 10th anniversary revival of the Curse of Strahd adventure. And I'm guessing that's going to have something to do with Fortnite because it was part of this article. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Last story for the night. TTRPG crowdfunding report 2025. So as I said earlier, a guy named Christopher Hutton of TTRPG Insider has analyzed the health of the crowdfunding market across platforms like Kickstarter, BackerKit, GameFound. I'm
familiar with two of those pretty well.
Which one? BackerKit and Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, GameFound is another one. It's sort of a newer one. I think they kind of focused on board games primarily, but I'm not sure if they do. But I think they do RPGs as well.
I'm a super backer on Kickstarter. I spend entirely too much money.
Yeah. Did you know that BackerKit now is in the Kickstarter game? Like they're actually doing crowdfunding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am aware they are doing it, and I have my opinions on how that's working out for them.
Yeah. Go ahead. What do you think?
Having been involved with campaigns on both platforms, it really seems like the lion's share of the backing and the money is on Kickstarter. And if you're on BackerKit, you're not getting nearly as much money as you would be on Kickstarter. And I've seen a few different campaigns run on Kickstarter first and then run again on BackerKit.
Huh.
And that may actually be a smarter way to do it.
Wow, I never thought of doing that. Okay. Oh, we got a note in the group here. It says, Brian says, I'm getting a Cyberpunk game on GameFound. Okay. So BackerKit, so for the history of this, Kickstarter was the backing platform, and BackerKit had come out to help creators on BackerKit. That way you could separate your shipping costs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
We did that, and it was awesome. So we were able to run our Kickstarter, not have to worry about whether we're going to get hosed for shipping. We did all our shipping through BackerKit, and it also allowed us to upsell all this other stuff that we had. So other books.
That's a big deal.
It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, it was. We were able to offer really good deals to our fan base, but at the same time, we did very well. You know, they were happy to buy it because it was like, oh, they're putting it on sale. But Kickstarter then decided to add all that capability to their platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at that point, BackerKit had to get into the game or go out of business. If you think about it, right? Because why would you pay the extra fee to BackerKit when you're getting it at Kickstarter?
Mm-hmm.
So
you're right.
I think BackerKit had to grow or die, right? So
for the most part, let me raise my camera a little bit here. What you see behind me is my wall of RPGs, and virtually all of them are from Kickstarter or BackerKit. A lot of them, anyway.
There's a huge barrier. I mean, if you've never tried to produce anything, it may come to as a surprise as the crazy amount of costs it takes to produce something.
I've heard.
And the very small margin that the creators get. Like you'll see a Kickstarter for like, oh, they made $100,000, right? It's like, no, they sold $100,000 worth of stuff. They probably made 20,000. You know,
that's actually more than I thought it would end up being, honestly.
Well, I'm just saying, out of 100, you know, you might make the 20. Because you got to pay for all the production, and if you're making $100,000 Kickstarter, you've put a lot of money into advertising and stuff, because you're not pulling 100,000 without advertising, unless you're somebody like Wizards of the Coast, who if they did something on Kickstarter, I don't know if they've ever done anything, but if they did,
I've never seen anything on Kickstarter.
They would probably not have to do any advertising at all, because
I know that
such a large user base.
Now my brain is frying on me. Who was doing here at what is all this stuff? The Pathfinder stuff.
Yeah.
Pathfinder does did they even do anything to Kickstarter? I don't know. They did Monty Cook Games. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, Monty Cook. Okay, yeah.
Monty Cook Games is what I'm thinking of. And they do Kickstarters and BackerKit all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always there to support them.
That is pretty much their business model, right?
It is.
And it
seems to work for them.
Oh, yeah. You think? They make like $1 million Kickstarters. So
yeah, I've seen a couple of those go by.
All right. So this report, so it says the market stabilization. So this is basically focusing on how the gaming market has stabilized on crowdfunding sites by Q4. So it said Q4 2025 saw 26 campaigns raise over $100,000, indicating a stabilizing market despite broader economic concerns. The full year of 2025, approximately 98 campaigns reached the 100K mark, totaling over 37 million, down from 2024's 48 million, but still higher than 2023. That's just crazy numbers to me.
Yeah, those are big numbers, and I'm not surprised to hear them.
I am a little surprised. I shouldn't be, probably, but this is just tabletop role playing.
Mm-hmm. So considering that's where all of my Kickstarting and BackerKit goes, right, yeah. that is where I've got my finger on the pulse, and I am not surprised to hear that.
Okay, all right. It says the most successful project of 2025 was Draw Street Crack the Sun, which I never heard of.
Never heard of it.
2.6 million. And then Alien Evolved Edition, which I have heard of, 2.4 million. And then, of course, Shadow Dark. I think it was the second one that they did. The Western Reaches was 2.3 million. I got to tell you, we've met. I think I met Kelsey once, maybe I met her. I don't know. I don't remember, but I've seen her at conventions a lot, and she must be loving life because her Shadow Dark is just kicking ass. And it's a good looking book. I've seen a friend of mine got it, and it's a good looking book. I'm not going to play it because I'm not a D&D guy anymore, but if I was, I would.
I got to tell you, the Monty Cook Cipher stuff, they make pretty books.
Yeah,
real pretty.
Yeah, and then what was the Brandon Sanderson one, but that was like last year, I believe. Apparently, that crushed like records.
Well, it's Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah. A friend of mine I work with, this guy Will, he's a humongous Brandon Sanderson fan, and he was talking about how like when the pandemic happened, Brandon Sanderson like wrote like 6 books or something like that. And he was just like,
Mhm.
he's just like, hey guys, I've been quiet for a little while, but check this out. I'm releasing this and this and this. Oh, and this and another one. And it was just like, holy crap. Anyway, so it says the Backer Kit months, like Mothership Month, were successful at getting many small creators funded, though only the leading projects typically cross the 100K threshold. So, yeah. So you're not surprised. I'm a little surprised.
Not at all.
All right. Well,
More power to them. I
yeah,
want to see it continue to grow.
I agree. As a game creator, I agree with you. I would like to see us grow and earn more money on Kickstarter.
Obviously, you need to be on Kickstarter and Backer Kit and this other third platform. You just serial releasing your backers. So boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Here's my platform. Make me money.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right. Well, that's it for the news this week. Let's talk about Mr. Mixon. Mr. Mixon, you have some stuff that you do. Why don't you tell folks about? Give them the pitch.
Well, for me, let's start off with who I am. I write science fiction, and I've done so professionally for a little bit more than a decade. The last book that I released was number 50 that I have written or co-written. So I've produced a couple of books in that time frame, and I've supported my family full time on it since they laid me off from NASA those years ago. Yeah. One of the games that I am a huge fan of is the Traveler role-playing game. I picked it up when I was still in high school, or maybe even a little earlier than that. I can't remember if it was early 80s or late 70s that I picked up the stuff. It originally came out in 77, so I don't think I was right there, Johnny on the spot, but I was there within a couple of years of it coming out. Right. And by the time I joined the Army in 83, I loved that game. I wore out numerous sets of the little black books. I just loved them to death. And I would play solo games by myself when solo gaming really wasn't a thing. Just doing stuff with myself. And after I left the Army, I kind of fell off the role-playing wagon for a while and only got back into it within moderately recent, like 5 years ago. And I discovered Mongoose 2nd edition Traveler and picked the entire catalog up because I just love the game so much. I just picked it up sight unseen. And I'm pretty impressed with it. It's got its flaws. I'm a builder. I'm a gearhead. So I design ships. I design robots. I designed vehicles. And there are some issues with some of the rules that I wish they would have fixed. But, hey, that's life. Nothing's perfect. And I decided that I have a Patreon for people that support me as a writer. But since I'm co-writing with someone else, I haven't been able to share stuff as I'm writing it as I was wont to do. Right. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and write a Traveler universe serial and just keep writing it and try to produce a chapter or so a week in addition to what I write for money. Eventually, I'll file the serial numbers off and publish it myself as something that's not Traveler. But I'm having fun exploring the Traveler universe, and I've almost finished the first book. So it's a lot of fun writing a serialized bit of fiction in somebody else's wheelhouse.
Yeah. So let's talk about Traveler just a little bit, because I think I played it maybe once, and it was back in the days when you could die making character creation, which was the big thing.
That's not a thing anymore. They thankfully fixed that. It's not a thing anymore.
Because I did it. I made my first character, and that character died in character creation. So went back and made another one. We didn't really get into it though and play it that much. I can't remember why, whatever. Probably another shiny thing came along and we played that instead.
I think it may have been poor marketing. They have been crap at marketing it. Instead of marketing the game, they should have marketed the charted space setting that they were putting it in. The vast Imperium, the Aslan cat people, the sword worlders, the Zodani with their psionic mind powers. All of these things might have grabbed people's attention more than just talking about the game mechanics. And they didn't seem to realize it because they were designed by, like a lot of games back in those days, war gamers.
Ah, right. Yeah, and a wargamer mindset's a little different than,
Mhm.
than your storytelling. Yeah, it's like, "Oh, all the numbers are there. I don't understand why you're not getting it." It's like,
Exactly so.
um, right, right. Um, but it's like hard sci-fi though, right? Traveler was sort of the hard sci-fi game.
It is a pretty hard sci-fi game, although they have fantastical things like they have a jump drive that can get you from 1 parsec to 6 parsecs away, depending on the drive. So they have faster than light travel. But
Okay.
in the reality side of it, messages can't travel faster than a ship can. So it's more like Age of Sail. And
Oh,
that's a
okay.
big part of the setting is that information does not propagate very fast at all over across the wide setting.
Right.
So that's why they should promote things like the setting as opposed to the system.
Right. So you can have like a Wild West type of deal where if
Yep,
you're out on the frontier, you're on your own.
exactly so.
That's
And they've
it.
got plenty of little adventures that are exactly like that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That's good writing. You gotta have been a big fan of the Expanse, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's my favorite series of all time. Like that's my favorite um uh fictional storytelling of all. I love hard sci-fi and they really, I mean, of course, they bent the rules, but what I liked about it was is where they bent the rules were where rules didn't exist. So they're
I
not
want to say that I
really.
read somewhere that the creator of The Expanse may have. I know that the creator of Firefly, uh, Josh Whedon, was a big Traveler fan, and
Oh,
the
okay.
show was in some respects influenced by Traveler.
Huh, I did not
So I
know
don't
that.
don't I do not know that about The Expanse, but I would not be shocked to hear it.
Yeah. Well, it's the creator. It's actually two people. So S.A. Corey is the credit, but that's two people. I don't know how that breaks out, or like one of them is S and one of them is A, or I don't. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is, but it's a not a couple. I don't want to say a couple. They're
Well, they might be. Who knows? I'm not going to
no,
judge.
I don't think they. No, I'm just saying I don't think they are. I think they're just like the Duffer Brothers, or like um, you know, uh, there's a couple other two people that work together as a crew all the time. Um, but at any rate, yeah, The Expanse was unbelievably awesome. How do you so when you write your stories, like do you lean into hard sci-fi? Do you get into
I
space
write space
opera?
opera. I
You write
write
space
space
opera.
opera.
Okay.
I am unapologetically a space opera guy.
Okay. So more Star Warsy ish kind
Yeah.
of.
The
Yeah.
stuff that
Okay.
I write for myself is definitely more Star Wars-ish. The serial that I'm writing set in the Traveler Charted Space universe is leaning more into their setting, so it's a little bit bound by what they have.
Hmm.
Whereas I might change a few things, I am still constrained in ways that I would not consider myself constrained in my own work.
Okay. I was creating something for a future game that we'll put out at some point, but it's something I've been working on for years. And I was talking with this guy, Ethan Siegel. I don't know if you know him. He used to go to Balticon a lot. He's a physicist.
The
Um,
name is familiar, so
he
I've
writes
heard his
he's
name anyway. He
Yeah.
dresses up in these costumes when he goes to
Yes.
there. So I
Yes.
know him. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
guy. I know
Yeah.
him. Yeah. I've met him and I've seen him, but I can't say that I really know him.
Okay. Well, I'd had him on back when I did Mythwits. I had him on Mythwits a couple times, and I've talked to him since. He's a good dude. And I one time I did a call with him. I said, "Hey man, could I just pick your brain? It's not for an interview. It's not for anything. It's just I just want to call you and pick your brain on something because I'm writing something that is going to be in a role playing game, but I'm creating my own metaphysics, but I don't want to break real physics. Like I was make sure I'm not like doing something that you'd be like, no, there's no way real physics could even absorb that metaphysics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a guy, he's a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. Like this is a real, you
He's a
know,
PhD.
he's
He's
a
he's
PhD
he's the
physicist.
brain.
And when I explained to him how my metaphysics worked for my universe, he was like, yeah, that's really cool. And you're not breaking any rules. He's like, that doesn't exist, obviously, but there's nothing in physics that says that it could not exist. And I was like, awesome. So I got the creative check mark from a PhD. So I'm really
There you
happy
go.
about that. Yeah. Well, tell me, when you worked for NASA, what did you do for NASA?
I was an IT guy. I worked in the
Okay.
Mission Control Center for 16 years as
Mm.
both a Linux system administrator and as a frontline help desk type support, the mobile kind that goes out, working directly for the flight controllers. So I
Oh,
was,
wow.
if they're looking at their screen and saying this button doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm the guy that made it do that thing.
Okay. All right. Cool. Very cool. I met Jack Clement. Did you know Jack Clemens at all? He used to go to
No,
Balticon as well. He was a NASA guy. I know that
I've only
doesn't mean
been weirdly, I've only been to Balticon once.
okay, okay. Well, that doesn't
So
mean
we
that you
just we
should
just
know him.
luckily, connected there.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of the same friends, I think, is what it is. Because like Paul was a friend, and
Mm-hmm.
um I not really I wouldn't call myself a friend of Veronica. 'Cause I know you guys do a show with her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I have met her, and I met her there, obviously. Um, and I don't know the whole crew, Dave Robeson. Did you know him at all?
I do.
Yeah, he was part of the crew. It's a sad too because nobody goes to Balticon anymore. Like none of the crew. Like I mean, people do, but none of like our inner group. None of them. Like Scott, Paul doesn't go anymore. I don't think. Um, if Paul went, I would go just to hang out with him. But
I'm not sure why he hasn't gone. It might be, the housework that eats up all of his money. That could be it.
right. And I mean, is Balticon still like he'd have to get some kind of return on investment for going there? Like maybe
If you're looking for return on investment to go to a convention, you're going for the wrong reasons
well, I mean,
because
like
you're not
at
going to
least
make your money back.
no, not at the convention, but like networking and that kind of stuff. I mean,
Sure,
you meet people.
you've got to consider it worthwhile to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some of your books here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show your website here. Look
Pull
at
my finger.
yeah. Yeah. So, where do you want me to go? What do you want to talk about?
Wherever you like. You explore, I'll talk.
Okay. Well, I got some new releases here. Tell me about these. Is this a series or
The
I think
far left and far right are in the same series. That's
Mhm.
the Forgotten Ship series that I'm co-writing with Jay and Cheney.
Mhm.
And it is definitely space opera with an event, a supernova that picked everybody up that was in space at the time and sent them onto the other side of the universe. And it's their struggle to find their way back if they can. And it's being led by a guy that used to be a professional thief, and his partner who used to be an assassin.
Okay. Is that the girl with the patch?
The girl with the eye patch. Oh my
Yeah.
God, the eye patch. You would not believe the trouble I've had with that wandering eye patch and covers. Oh,
Oh,
my
really?
God.
Does
It's
it
went
keep
from
moving
left to
from?
right to left to right. I'm like, no, never write in an eye patch anywhere in your stories and expect the cover people to keep track of it. So they had to do tweaks to make it work.
Oh my God. Or maybe it's like, I forget, there was a movie or something where the guy kept moving the eye patch.
Yeah, that was on purpose though.
Yeah, that. And so how's a supernova shove them across the universe?
Space travel in that universe is something called the quantum sea. You basically get in like a sailboat and you're sailing across the sea. Any ship that was in the quantum sea when the supernova happened, the energy just picked them up, put them into an alien travel network that had been defunct, and sent them all the way across the universe. And now they've got to try to figure out how to make that alien network come back to life. First, they've got to figure out, well, whose network is it? Who are these aliens? They've been gone for millennia. Now they've got to figure that out. So that's part of the struggle. That's what I'm doing.
So aliens built some kind of interspace superhighway type thing, and the supernova shoved these guys into that. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, wait, what? Where are we? What is this? Where are we going? And now, but then when they get to the other end, it's shut back down again.
Correct.
And I got you. Okay. That sounds cool.
Now, the place that they arrive, it gets, a couple of dozen ships arriving from all over the universe every year. Just seemed like at random, some ship over there gets picked up, someone over here. They've never had in living memory 30,000 ships dumped on them at once. So it's a crisis.
Okay. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool, actually. All right. Then what about Empire Reborn?
It is book 15 in the series that I started writing in. the Empire of Bones. And it is definitely military space opera because it's
Mhm.
got elements of both. The main character in that is Princess Kelsey. She is, a little bit entitled at the beginning of this story, but her own mistakes get her snagged up in things and put through the ringer to make her like enhanced combat stuff where she's not entitled to it. She doesn't know anything about combat, but the relics of the dead empire uh, put her through the ringer, and now she's got it, and she's got to figure out how to make it work as they struggle to figure out why the Terran Empire died 500 years ago, and try to find a way to stop the relics that are still there from doing it again to their world.
Cool. So I'm assuming it's set way in the future,
Very, very far in the future.
like Dune level, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And the Ghost in the Machine and the Shadow Relics. What time period would you? When
I
is
think
that?
that's probably about 1,000 years in the future.
Okay, all right. Do you ever read anything that's kind of near future?
I've written Humanity Unlimited, which you can see if you go to the top of that screen.
Yes.
See where it says Humanity Unlimited?
Yes.
Click there. That
okay.
is stuff that was set maybe 30 or 40 years in the future. And it's
Okay.
my idea of mixing in things like the Stargate program with Earth, but all with my own take.
Okay. This is pretty good. Who does your art, man? This is good covers.
My wife did those with stock art, put it all together.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah.
like combined it, like
Get the
cut and
little
paste
different
and-
pieces, parts, and
Okay.
put it all together. She's pretty good at it.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't have called that like, what would you call it? Combined,
Home done, homemade,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, just it's actually really good. That's awesome. Tell her I said so.
There's some awesome stock art out there. So she's just good about taking pieces and making them work the way I want them to.
That's excellent. Does she mess up the eye patch?
She has not, because that's the only eye patch I ever did, and then she doesn't do those covers.
I know
Those are professionally paid for.
I was, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I was gonna say they look really good too. I mean, the art on these is excellent.
If you go back up to the top,
Mhm.
you'll see another series that I did with Jay and Shaney called The Last Hunter.
Okay.
It is military science fiction.
Oh, there we go.
And
I probably
when I finish the 9 books in the series, The Forgotten Ship, that I'm writing right now, I'm coming back and I'll write 9 more in this universe.
Jeez. All right. Good Lord.
The plans are already in motion.
So how does that work, writing with another writer? How do you like, you don't each write your own chapters, or do you? Is that how you do it? How's it work?
No,
how does it work?
I've written with Glenn Stewart where we swapped off. I wrote the first quarter and the last. Did I write? No, he wrote the first quarter and the last quarter, and I wrote the middle.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we did that. With these, I am the primary writer, and the association with Jay and Cheney, a lot of the figuring out what the story is going to be is there, and having input and back and forth is there, but I do the primary word smithing.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, so writing the first quarter and the last quarter. So taking the easiest part and the hardest part. And right? Would you say that's right? Or is the middle
I don't know
harder?
that I would say the middle is a little harder. Glenn Stewart's a more experienced author than I am, and he knew how he wanted the story to start, and he knew how he wanted the story to end. And it was my job to take the two pieces and meander my way through so that both connected.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the first chapter to me, like anything, because I've done some writing as well. The first chapter always seems to be kind of the easiest. Like it's because it's fun and it's exciting to write, the beginning of how the story begins. The beginning seems to me be kind of like the easiest thing of all. Endings are tough.
It is, but you've got to keep in mind that while you're having fun with the ending, you can't wander too far off from where you think it might end. I'm a discovery writer, so I never know really where the story is going to end.
Oh,
I just get into it and I just shoot down the middle, and wherever I end up is where that story ends up.
Okay. So you're a pantser, big time pantser.
Big time pantser. I'd say
Okay.
that 3/4 of the time, the ending that I thought I was going to arrive at is nowhere close to what I actually ended up with.
Yeah, and for any of our listeners out there or watchers rather, well, either way, because we do both. Um, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's planners and pantsers. So a planner outlines when they're doing a writing process, they outline it and they follow their outline, and pantsers just sit down and start writing. And then there's a course. There's always people somewhere in the middle. You know, it's a gradient. So you could be mostly a planner and say, you know, and I'm just going to go crazy with these couple of sections here. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but whatever. Or you could be like just a slightly planned out pantser as well. But it sounds like you just sit down and be like, I got my character, I got my setting, go.
Exactly. The way I see the start of a story, it's like in golf. The backswing is the part that doesn't get written. The story starts when you hit the ball.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the way I write, what I like to do, kind of in between. So what I'll do is I will determine what my beginning and my ending is, right? I know how it wants to end, I know how it's going to begin. And then I come up with about, I don't know, 6 scenes in between, 6 cool scenes that I know I want to happen in it. And these are going to be like the exciting moments in the story, like things that you'll remember. And so I know what they are and I plan those out. And then I pants everything in between. So stitching them together it goes how it goes. I know where the characters are and I know where they got to end up. So I just got to write that in between piece. And like stuff can happen in
Personally,
between there.
if I mapped out everything that was exciting in the middle, I would be bored to tears.
Okay.
The story's over for me then. I already know what's going to happen.
I gotcha. Yeah.
As a writer, I tell myself a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I do it.
Okay. So you're sitting there like, and then this person.
What do I think would be cool next?
Yeah.
What's cool now?
Right. Well, I mean, you can't mess up the ending that way.
Yeah. Well, you can write a story that doesn't work for the ending, but I haven't had that problem.
Right.
As a longtime role player, I am good at knowing how stories should end.
Yeah.
That's one thing that role playing has taught me, is how to do characters and how to make a story. As a game master, I was a pantser there too. So I would have to make it up as I went along. And that has all helped me now.
You know, when I go to a convention and I run games there, I generally have that all planned out. Right. With it's wide open too. Like they can do whatever they want. I'm a yes and guy. So if a player asks me, can I do this? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, even if it's crazy, unless it's like ridiculous. Like, you know, if we're playing a spy game and he's like, can I just flap my arms and fly across the thing? No, I'm going to say no to that. But if they try and do crazy stuff, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, sure, let's see how that goes. But when I would game master my home campaigns, a lot of times I could start from nothing. Like we sit down and be like, all right, what do you guys want to do? And then we're going to roll, like, and stuff is going to happen. It's not going to be boring. You know, whatever they do, they're going to get into stuff, and I'm going to make up stuff as we go. And I'm like, I might hit a point where it's like, let's do a chase scene, you know, in the back of my head. And then that's what we do.
You know, you talk about the early days of role playing. One of the very first games that I played was, coincidentally enough, Top Secret. Way back when I was still in high school.
Okay.
And I would run it for my friends. And I remember a particular scene, two different things that I'll say about this. There was one particular scene where one of my players and his brother were sneaking across a border in Romania, and just throwaway line stuff. The border guard's asking what they're there for. One of them immediately says business. The other one says pleasure. They look at each other and then they reverse it and say the other thing. And as the bodyguard, I'm like, would you like to have a few minutes to speak with yourselves and figure out why you are here?
That's funny.
And the other one that I did was the player was my oldest friend, somebody I've known since middle school.
Right.
And he wanted to be a professional wrestler turned spy. And I said, we could do this. We could do this. But you have escaped with the title, and they are still pursuing you to try to force a fight on you so that they can reclaim the title. And he's sneaking through the airport as a spy, and he sees somebody sneaking into the back area, and so he's following him, and he's ready for trouble, and he hears people in the dark back there, and suddenly the lights come on, and he's in an impromptu boxing ring, and I'm going ding 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 ding, and the player's like, oh my god, he just never even saw it coming.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't. That would be fun to do in like in one of our games, because we do have you can make up your character can be from any background. Like, matter of fact, there's a section where you have background. You just write in what you used to do, and that gives you a bonus to any skill that fits that background. So you could write chemist, or could have wrote wrestler, right? And then you would get.
I love that professional wrestler. Yeah. I got to use that one so much.
That's awesome. So what are you working on right now? What book are you working on right now?
I am writing book 6 in The Forgotten Ship.
Okay.
So the assassin and the spy, the thief are working their magic, trying to get things wrapped up, because it's going to wrap up with book 9. I know how I want it to end, but goodness only knows what's going to go on when I get there.
Right. Now, is that the end of the series? That's it? You're not going to write any more after the 9th book? Or you're not planning
unless you decide to come back to it.
Right.
See,
right.
We wrapped up The Last Hunter. I didn't know that we were coming back to it, so never say never.
Right. But I mean, that's the plan. So I'm saying the plan is.
That's the plan. I want to wrap up the storyline.
Yeah. All right. Well, very cool. And so you have a Patreon, you said?
I do.
And what do people get on the Patreon?
At the moment, they get what I'm writing, and they get a early release version, usually like a couple of days before release, of whatever novel I'm putting out with the collaboration.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, we have a Patreon that requires me to write. I got to determine this, but I think, I want it to be fair to people. I put out like 5 supplements, primarily now for Top Secret, just because that's our flagship thing that we're doing. But this month, and this gives you a reason to watch this show, you get a little heads up. This month, we're actually there's a new game that we're coming out with that we're going to launch in March on Kickstarter. We were talking about doing backer kit, but now that I talked to you, I think I might rethink that. And
Kickstarter makes a lot lot more money than stuff on backer kit.
Maybe we should do
just
both.
Saying.
We'll do
look
Kickstarter.
At the rule, make sure, because I've seen a number of people. Monty Cook does this. They'll do it first on Kickstarter, and then they'll do it again on backer kit a little bit later.
I'll have to look into that to see what the rule, like, and would fans be happy with that? Like, I don't know. Like, did they add something?
The thing you need to worry about with that is, or not worry about, is keep in mind is that most people will know if they've backed something. If they back it on Kickstarter, they're not going to back it again on this. They'll realize, oh, we're just covering this other platform. You're just covering another base. It's not like you're trying to get anything over on them. They're not going to get anything different on BackerKit than they got on Kickstarter. It's just a way to reach a wider audience.
Okay. And I guess then we put something on Indiegogo. That's a 4th.
Yeah, I've done some stuff on Indiegogo as well.
Right. But yeah, so I'm actually releasing the quick start rules for More Blood this month. So, and I'm giving it to the free patrons. So all you have to do is join our Patreon. You don't have to pay any money, and you get a quick start set of rules. It's about, I think it's like 26 pages of stuff, but you can play the whole game. So
with the stuff that I'm doing with my patrons, the $5 and up patrons are getting the chapters I'm writing in advance. So I think I'm like 21 chapters ahead of what the free people are getting. The free people will eventually get it all too. But if I can build up a novel's worth of story ahead of time, maybe that's enough to lure somebody into ponying up $5.
We weren't even going to do a Patreon. As a matter of fact, I had thought about it for like 2 years, and I kept saying, no, it'd be cool and all, but then I'd have to do more work for the Patreon. And like I'm already having a hard enough time. There's only 2 of us trying to get all this stuff done, as is. But we were at this convention last year, and there was 3 guys up on stage, and they were giving a seminar on like how to be successful in producing games. And one of the guys had mentioned Patreon, and I asked him, I was like, yeah, but isn't that like for us indie creators? Because he was one too. I said, isn't that like a lot more work? And he said, no. He's like, actually, he uses it to put stuff out ahead of all the final production. So like he'll put stuff on his Patreon without art, without like editing, without layout. And like it gives the users something extra ahead of time. And he said that people are happy to back that. And then they'll buy the final product when it's done as well. Like you're not stealing from yourself by doing that. And I was like, it really? So that's what we've been doing. I've been writing these world books for Top Secret because that was one of the things that we felt that Top Secret was lacking was a good proper setting, you know, for people to do their spy stuff in, because trying to come up with spy adventures can be a little daunting. And yeah. And so over the last year, I have created so much material. You could probably play a 2 to 3 year campaign and never have to write your own adventure, just going through the stuff I've supplied.
I know that Mongoose occasionally does Kickstarters. They have the Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society, which is like a periodical, a small set of books that comes out every once in a while. They do them in 6-book increments, basically. And they also do some of their big campaigns, like their Singularity campaign was a Kickstarter that I backed. And as a backer, I'm getting it early, and it's, of course, got all the flaws in it. And so we're like leaving commentary on their website, on their forum, saying, yeah, this build doesn't work, or like, what the heck is going on over here? Why does it say this? So it's a way that they can put out their product and get some feedback on it before it goes out. And I'll still get the end product once it's done and printed. I'll be one of the first ones to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. We're kind of hoping that in the next, maybe in the next year or so, probably next year, we're going to do another edition. We're going to do a brand new edition of Top Secret. And when we go to that, the new edition, probably going to be multiple books. We've talked about this before. We were thinking about like doing like a player's manual that would be a cheaper book that after the Kickstarter people could buy on their own. And like, if you're a player, you could buy this book and it wouldn't be super expensive. Cause one of the things that happens is you get your game master who gets stuck buying all the books. Right. And because the books are, can be expensive, not every player is going to buy a copy. But what if you made it so that the books that the players needed, which is what D&D has done, if you're just a player, you can buy your player manual for, $20 or whatever. And it just has the rules you need for making characters and doing your character stuff. And so we're thinking about doing that and an administrator's guide, and then a world book, and then maybe even doing like getting fancy and putting it on a sleeve or something, and like making it like just really cool product for everybody.
So talking sleeves, this is their Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society. It's not very big.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Just, there we go. Little book. See if I can get there. So it's just your usual book. I think there's like 100 pages in there. Yeah, 128 pages in there. And so you're writing your source books and whatnot. If you were doing that and you were producing these, you could have your own little box set that you put together.
So we're thinking about that. That might be a cool way to go. All right. Well, I think we're close to the end here. Now, I know you do a show as well, right? With like Paul and I think
the Dead Robot Society.
Dead Robots. And when do you go live?
We go live on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central.
And then do you have that up as a podcast?
We do. It's available on all your podcasting. We do it as a video like this. So it's on YouTube. I think it's YouTube DRS Podcast is the place where that's located.
And what is the theme of the show, the Dead Robot Society? What do you guys talk about?
It's 3 writers getting together, talking shop about writing and all of the other nonsense of storytelling that goes on. So who knows what we're actually going to talk about? We don't know when we start off. We have a topic, and it's a running joke that we rarely stay on topic.
Right. Side quest galore, right?
Absolutely.
All right. And then, you can find Terry stuff at Terry Mixon. That's MIXON.com. That's where all your books, and you can contact you and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure
you can send me your notes about what is this? This is even science fiction. Blah, 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 blah.
And I'm assuming you're on Audible. Are you on Audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am indeed.
So
Audiobooks are the bag, man.
so check out Terry's stuff. You're pretty prolific. How often do you put a book out?
Not every 6 weeks.
Jesus Christ, that is crazy. All right, so if you have, if
you can
have,
do it, you can do it.
I know, dude. How long are your books? What do you do? Like the old school sci-fi novel length?
You mean the shorter ones? No, I do 100,000 words.
Okay, well, no, that's okay. 100,000 words. All right. Oh, because
the really old ones were like 60,000 words.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you pump out 100,000 words every 6 weeks.
Yes.
That is insane, dude. I did NaNoWriMo.
I write full time. This is what I do, man.
That's true. I did NaNoWriMo one year and I beat it, or not beat it. I won or whatever. I got to like 55,000 words in 30 days. So I know I can feel the slog, man. But I mean, like you said, I was also working a job and doing another podcast. That's back when I was doing the Mythwits. That took up a lot of time, and I was just squeezing it in.
My chapters run about 3,000 words, a little bit more than 3,000 words a chapter. If I do a chapter a day and don't miss a day, that's a couple of hours of work, and I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm spending tons of hours in front of the keyboard. And I do use Dragon Naturally Speaking to go ahead and narrate the first draft. So I'm a slow typist. So this is much better.
Yeah. When I was doing NaNoWriMo, I was you have to hit about 1,500 words a day. That's pretty much what it boils down to. It's roughly that. It's like 15, 16.
1666 or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. Right. And I remember there was like, because life happens. There was like 3 days that month I couldn't write at all. So I had to like double up and stuff. And then there were days that I can only manage to get in 800 words because it was like I was literally had like 30 minutes. I sat down and just like cranked in a piece of it. And I remember when I was getting close to the end and I was like worried I wasn't going to make it. And I was like, no, God damn it, I'm going to make it. I had a 3-day weekend and I sat and wrote all day. And when I say all day, like 6 hours of just nothing but writing is a full day. Trust me.
Yeah, I believe you. I know.
Yeah, no, right. So I managed to knock out like, I can't remember what it was. It was something like in 3 days, I had knocked out like 12,000 words or something like that. And it was
Those are rookie numbers. Those are rookie numbers. You're going to have to bring those numbers up.
Dude, I was a rookie. I had never written a book before. So
in my, I'm not going to say my best day because I really don't like putting that kind of time in. But when I had to put in some time and I didn't want to stop telling a story, 16,000 words in one day.
Nice.
16,000 words.
That is impressive.
I was dead for creative stuff for days afterward. Yeah. I do not recommend.
Well, I could tell you, I was saying about the Patreon that we put out, and I put out like five different entries a month. It's roughly, I keep bragging that it's 50 pages a day or 50 pages a month of material, of gaming material, but it's not 100% true because there's like the first 2 pages are like titles and stuff like that. So let's say it's 45 pages of material or 42 pages of material a month. That's still, I feel like that's still pretty impressive because it's not just writing. A lot of times it's like game development type stuff as well.
There's more that goes into that. I just sit down and I tell a story. I tell myself a story. You're doing something different.
And mine's set in the real world. So there's a lot of research that goes into mine because I have to, if I'm writing about stuff going on in Brazil, right? Well, what the hell do I know about Brazil? So I have to like go do my digging. And that takes up a ton of time, doing research and stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, fortunately, I know people might say, hey, I do use ChatGPT to gather information, but that's where I leave it. Like it doesn't do the writing for me, but I use it's a more powerful Google. So I can ask things like, instead of like having to go find a thing, I can just ask a thing.
You still have to check it though, because it hallucinates.
I know. Oh my God. I know. Anyone out there who uses any of these friggin', large language model type things, if you're not checking your work, it's wrong.
I am not a fan of using generative AI in any part of the creative process. but I am warming to the idea of using it as a brainstorming tool.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, look, honestly, a lot of times it's what I like to call targeted or fancy Google is what I use it for. Like, I just want to gather a bunch of information. It's going to do it. It's going to do it for me. Okay.
Here's something I want you to try. For the serial that I'm writing that's Traveler, I asked it, I said, using the Mongoose second edition Traveler rule set, go out and create a technologically advanced cat that has certain augmentations about it. And it went out and it pulled parts of the actual setting. Sometimes it was wrong. Sometimes it wasn't wrong. But I bet if you said using the top secret game system, do this, I bet you would find stuff and you would be surprised that it actually tried to use your game system.
I would be surprised. Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to do it with the Traveler stuff, and it did. Like, it could even stat things out using the game system. So
where
it may do more than you think.
Well, that's crazy to me. Where is it? It must be getting this stuff off of some of these like pirated sites or whatever.
Probably so. But I double dare you to go type in something saying using your own game system, write out this scenario using the game system. And I bet you that it would do it. And then you could use that to say, is any of that even worthwhile to write out for myself? Like,
maybe
write out the Russian mob. Right. Tell me about the Russian mob in my game system.
Right. You know, and if anybody's watching, I want to make it clear that we don't use any of that stuff for our products. No. You know, like I said, I use it as a fancy Google, like to get information. But for me, it's just retrieving. It's not writing. We absolutely don't use it for any art. God knows our art bill. I can show you our art bill receipts.
For the Traveler serial that I'm writing, I wanted to see if it could give me some story prompts that I could then use to write for myself. And it hallucinates. It does things that I wouldn't approve of, but it's occasionally thrown in an interesting thing. I was like, I could write that into something.
Sure.
So for brainstorming, I think that it's okay, because you're then going to take whatever is brainstormed with that idea and you're going to rewrite it all the way up. Not even take the original, just write it your own way. Yeah. And that's good.
And let's face it. I mean, you're doing that sort of the same thing when you're watching movies and reading other people's books. You're getting ideas from them. It's just throwing shit out there and you're like, that sounds cool. Maybe I will write that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Terry. Well, I mean, everybody check out Terry's books. It's a great guy.
Which are not using generative AI in any way, form, or fashion.
God. Oh, dude, did you know they killed NaNoWriMo because of that?
Was it because of that? I know that it died. I didn't know it was because of generative AI.
It was because, and tell me how stupid you think this is, because I think it's absolutely bizarre. It is so dumb. They allowed people to use AI to help them write their 50,000 words. What's the fucking point?
Why? What's the point?
Right. What's the point?
The whole point is to use your own creativity to write something.
Yes. Well, I mean, the whole point was to teach you how that you can. It was was it kind of like two things. One, to kind of like help you realize that you can do this, like how it like, because I think a lot of, it's like the sort of like the elephant, how to eat an elephant one piece at a time. And I think that's what they were trying to teach, is that if you write a little every day and you get in the habit, yes, you too can write 100,000 words, even though it's this huge number in your brain when you're getting started. But secondly, it was also like helping you establish the habits and the skills to actually write.
Habits are very important.
If you're using AI, what's the point? Like, I understand if you're doing it, not that I would do it, but I could understand somebody doing it if they were making money, right?
The thing about generative AI is that the best you will ever get from it is mediocrity.
Yeah.
It poisons itself. And the more things that are created by generative AI, the more the well is poisoned. I think
it's a downward. Honestly, it's going to be a
I
downward.
think you've already hit max usability. And it's only going to spiral out of control from here. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of years, but I don't think it's going to look pretty for generative AI.
Yeah, probably not.
For me, Since I started writing and publishing on under my own name, I have written and published 5 million words of all me.
Man, that's a lot of you out there, man.
That's a lot of me.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Thanks for coming on, Terry. And
Happy to be here, man.
You have to come back.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it is. I have to come on your show sometime.
You're welcome anytime.
Oh, cool. We can shoot the breeze. All right, everybody.
Have your people call my people.
I am my people.
I am my people too.
Remember, that's me calling you, right?
That's right. That's exactly what that is.
Right. All right, folks. I think I'm going to skip the Discord tonight because it's just me. And I'm actually kind of tired. I had a bunch of shoveling I had to do today because it's snowing its ass off up here. So I think I'm just going to retire for the evening. Yeah. And we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you do all the, the like, follow, subscribe, blah, 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 blah type stuff. But, tell somebody about our show. Maybe that would be cool too. And we'll see you next week.